Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to build the Revell 148 scale B-25J Mitchell, and it's a pretty old kit. I think it was tooled in 1977, so it's starting to show its age. And as usual, we're going to start with the cockpit, and I'm drilling out the little holes for the fuselage mounted guns, and then we're just going to put all the little radial boxes and everything like that inside the fuselage and build the front section. And so anyway, thank you for joining me here. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate it. And leave a comment and kick back and let's enjoy this build. Okay, so you're going to see some funny bloopers in this video because I had that respiratory crud for like 3 weeks, and I took a couple days off from work, and I worked on my model sometimes, and I guess through some of the medicines and fugue, I made some weird mistakes. So you'll see here I put these pilot and co-pilot seats way too far back, and I'm assuming that I guess they just wanted to lounge while they flew. I noticed it later when I eventually will move them forward when I get the instrument panel and stuff put in, but yeah, so that's kind of funny. Get the rear gunner's station all built up here and installed. You have to put it in the back of the fuselage and then mate the two parts together when you join the fuselage halves. Yeah, I didn't paint any of these parts separate, so I'm just going to paint it all at once, and I'm going to paint the interior black and then mask off the ammo boxes and radio boxes, things like that, that are going to stay black, that I'm going to keep black anyway, and then paint the interior with some interior green. And as you can see here, we get the bomb bay, bomb racks in. I'm just working on some sub-assemblies, getting these bombs together. The kit gives you 3 bombs to put inside the bomb bay, and I like to get everything kind of ready for primer, because I like to primer all at once, or at least as much as I can. So while everything's kind of drying inside the fuselage, I will put these together. And here I also make a silly mistake. I glued the wrong halves together. The wheels come in 2 halves. And one half has a hole on one side, the other half has the hub. I glued them like 2 hub sides together and 2 hole sides together. I didn't even notice it until later. And yeah, so I make some weird mistakes. Must have been the illness, I guess. And we'll just keep working on some sub-assemblies here. This is part of the gunner station. Yeah. Get these wings together, and they went together without really any issues. We won't see any issues until I put the engine nacelles on. So as you can see, Revell likes to put their corporate stamp and copyright date on the outside, so got to sand that off, don't forget. these engine nacelles put on, and you see some big gaps. So this is the first of many gaps in this kit. It's a lot of seam lines, a lot of gaps. I also didn't roll my phone when I was detailing up the cockpit. But here's the result. So I just dry brushed the instrument panel, picked out a few knobs and switches on the front there, gave a little wash, called it good. I packed it with weight, but it wasn't near enough. And so it needs a lot more weight because it will be a tail sitter. So I got the bombs installed here. There's two goes on this starboard side, then you get another, or put another bomb on the port side there. So I just did some dry brushing on the black components there, painted the seats, the little jump seats, and it's all going to be buttoned up and you'll never see it again, but you know it's there, but it's kind of fun doing. Yeah, so we'll get this together and start moving on, get some ready for painting and stuff. Our favorite part of modeling, said nobody ever. A lot of gaps on this, a lot of putty. So fuselage, also you'll see when we join the wings, I gotta use some styrene card. Yeah, I'm just using some Tamiya basic putty. I use tape here just to keep it kind of with going everywhere basically. So if I can keep it in right along the seam line, and then just sand it with some sandpaper and just smooth that okay. I didn't bother you with that because that's pretty boring. So I'm using some styrene card here for these gaps along the engine nacelles. Yeah, so just cut some strips and glue them in there. Then you can kind of trim them with your knife and then sand them down. So, all right, we're gonna get the tail section on, and you'll see another weird, ridiculous mistake. So must have been on the meds again. So watch this. So I will, when I attach the vertical stabilizers, I have the model in my hand upside down, and you'll see in a minute. It's quite funny, but I fix it. So got the seam smoothed out. I'm going to attach the wings, and I just basically use some Vallejo plastic putty to fill in the gaps here on this. And anyway, stay tuned for the ridiculous vertical stabilizers in just a second. So the engine cowlings come with some molded in exhaust pipes, but you got to put 7 on each engine cowling. So it's a little fiddly, but I use some thick liquid cement and it makes it easy to place. Now it's time to start assembling the forward gun placements for the nose, and yeah, you get a few machine guns here, and you also have some ammunition belts that we're going to put in. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. I painted the machine guns up with some Vallejo gunmetal gray, and I'm just using some super glue to put these inside this nose section, and yeah, so it looks pretty good. cast all the clear parts and did it myself. You can get masking kits for this model. I was kind of worried about how it turned out, but it actually turned out pretty good. There were some fit issues here. You got little gaps in a few places. Sometimes I just don't see them very well until after the fact. But I think they came out okay, as you'll see at the end when I basically have the final model. But there's a lot of clear parts that you got to mask off, so just took my time. Now we're going to get some primer down. This is just some Badger Steiner Res Gray primer, and actually primed it first. I'm sorry, this is the painting of the olive drab. Again, I didn't get footage of painting the bottom neutral gray. I also painted the front of the engine cowlings yellow, and I used some Model Masters acryl paint that I have left over and haven't just wanted to use it up, and so I used neutral gray for the bottom and using olive drab for the top. In hindsight, I wish I would have done some black basing and did some more highlights to give a little bit more color differentiation, but I tried to do some of that with the weathering. So we're just going to mask it, see how it went, and overall it's turned out pretty good, the paint job anyway. So I think I got all the seams taken care of, and this particular aircraft, Johnny Joe, had white wingtips, and yeah, so it looked okay. So we're just going to get all this paint off and check everything out, and I'll get a gloss coat down and we'll start the decals. Decals went down pretty good. Also, you might notice on the front of this aircraft, the Jaunty Joe, they painted one of the windows and partially painted some of the other ones. So anyway, once I got the decals on, let them set with some setting solution. They conform pretty well, and I gave everything a nice satin varnish again to protect the decals, and did some Flory wash, that dark dirt stuff. I thought maybe it was a little bit too clean, so I'm going to come back a little while and do a little bit more weathering. But anyway, I'm going to get these last few parts on, wheels, landing gear doors, bomb bay doors, and then do a little bit more weathering to the model to dirty it up just a bit, and we will be done. use some pastel chalks to make some exhaust staining here, and also on the machine guns for the gun smoke. Yeah, and also use some weathering powders, pigments, that kind of stuff, just to kind of give it some color variation. I went back to the bottom of the aircraft and used some fluoride grime wash, and basically you thin it out and you put it down and just smooth it out really with a brush, and don't really take a lot of it off. You'll see that here. You'll see the finished result here a little bit. But yeah, I think it's a little bit out of my comfort zone with weathering. I'm not real good at it, but in this case, I wanted to try a few things and see how I liked it. I'm going to use some of this Citadel wash to make some fuel stains where these fuel caps are. I think it worked out pretty good. That's that new oil stuff. Yeah, anyway, so a little bit of weathering. I do some sponge chipping as well around the leading edges of the wings and on the engine cowlings in the front. And also I'm going to use a colored pencil to basically show some wear on the leading edges of the propellers. So I'll be coming up here in just a second. With the installation of this pitot tube, I'm going to call it good. So I want to thank you for joining me here. I hope you enjoyed the build. If you learned something, great. I do have some still photos coming up, and at the very end of that, I have a little bit of information about Jaunty Joe's last mission, which is pretty sad. But anyway, overall, you know, the kit takes some work. It's an old mold. It basically needs a lot of filler. Just take your time, and if you are going to build this, make sure you pack a lot of weight in the front. It does give you a little ladder that you can rest it on, yeah, so enjoy the rest of the slideshow, guys, and I'll see you on the next build. Take care. Bye bye.